So I want to read from 2 John 1 5 through 6. And it says, I am writing to remind you, dear friends, that we should love one another. This is not a new commandment, but one we have had from the beginning. Love means doing what God has commanded us, and He has commanded us to love one another, just as you have heard from the beginning. And today I am again grateful for love, um, and just being able to understand through prayer certain things, you know, like prayer. I mean, all my life I've been a praying person, but I wasn't a good person for a long stretch of period of my life, you know. Um, but at the same time, I still feel as though I had a connection to God, even though it's sometimes you feel as though it's a disconnect. Um, but I can give you an analogy that I used to tell people last year, right? I used to say that, prayer is something like a cordless phone. Like when you have a cordless phone in your house phone, it's a cordless phone or whatever. The further you get away from the base, you know, sometimes the harder it is for you to hear the person on the other end of the line. And I just I felt as though like prayer was me getting closer to the base, because as I would get deeper into my prayer life, as I would get, you know, closer in my walk with God, the reception became much clearer. A lot of things that I may have had confusion about, a lot of things that, I may have been going through. Like I now felt as though like I had somebody closer to me who would listen, that like the voice of God became clearer. And it it sparks something in you, like you don't have to rush it. You don't have to rush your relationship with God. And that's something that I spoke about yesterday, where I said, the Bible tells us that we have a walk with Christ, and we walk with him for a reason. Like we don't have to rush. Like he isn't going anywhere. He's gonna be here, he's gonna be by our side, he's gonna stand firm to his promises, and he's gonna be with us no matter what. But a lot of it is us reaching out to him, us getting closer back to the base, us just kind of being receptive to what he has to say, you know. And the question that I want to ask everyone is, when God speaks, do we listen? You know, like you know the voice of God, because you just hear it more oftentimes than you think. Sometimes you think it's like you talking to yourself, or you answering your own questions, but it's like God speaking to you in a way that is receptive to you. Sometimes like God will speak to us through others. Sometimes God will speak to us through strangers. So He'll speak to us through children. You know, um, but it's whether or not you have made yourself receptive to hearing God's word. And prayer does that. Prayer unlocks something inside us where we begin to like know and listen and just hear the voice of God. So I just want everyone to open up yourself to Him, continue to remain obedient. You know, um, one of my one of my tests of obedience was like bringing this. I mean, just being a part of this group in a routine. You know, like just waking up every morning and just being here, no matter how I felt. You know, if I was in a good mood, whether I was in a bad mood, whatever it was, I always decided and tried to make myself available here. Um, because when we started it, like as you could see in the name, it said breakfast and the Bible, a morning motivation, and that's what I came here to do. I came here to get motivation. And if the Lord had it in me to give it, you know, so I I'm grateful to see everyone in this space. you know, just not the ones I just called out, but just everyone. And just letting everyone know that every contribution you give, even if it's a small one, even if sometimes in the mornings you don't know what you have to say, you don't know what direction God leading you to, you know, just shoot him a quick reminder, shoot him a quick prayer, hey God, what is it that you have for me to let somebody else know? Or what is it that you have for me to give to the world today? And just open up your ears and see what he has to say about it. And I'm Kerry, and I'm done speaking.
Kerry,